Good day, everyone. This is Maryland M. Dimgilias. I'm going to present a case study in international trade and alternative solution about the U.S. softwood lumber dispute. This ongoing dispute between the United States and Canada has spanned decades and involved multiple rounds of litigation at the WTO and under NAFTA. The U.S. accused Canada of dumping softwood lumber into the U.S. market at unfairly low prices, claiming that Canadian loggers benefited from subsidized stumpage fees on public lands. The U.S. imposed anti-dumping and countervailing duties on Canadian softwood lumber imports, leading to retaliatory measures from Canada. The dispute has been marked by the political tensions and economic for both countries. The main problem of the U.S. softwood lumber dispute is the fundamental differences in how Canada and the United States manage their forest resources. This difference leads to accusations of unfair trade practices and has fueled decades of trade disputes. Here's a breakdown. First, stumpage fees. In Canada, most forests are publicly owned, and timber harvesting companies pay a stumpage fee to the government for the right to harvest. These fees are often set below market value, considering factors like provincial revenue goals and job creation. In the US, most forests are privately owned, and timber prices are determined through competitive auctions, meaning US lumber producers pay market prices. The US argues that Canada's lower stumpage fees constitute a government subsidy, giving Canadian producers an unfair advantage. Canada defends its systems, arguing that it reflects the unique circumstances of its publicly owned forests and its commitment to the sustainable forestry. Second, the US also accuses Canada of dumping softwood lumber into the US market, meaning they sell it at prices below the cost of production or below the price they would sell it for in Canada. This claim further fuels the US argument that Canadian lumber producers are unfairly competing with their US counterparts. This disagreement has led to, first, multiple rounds of litigation. The US has imposed anti-dumping and countervailing duties on Canadian lumber imports, while Canada has retaliated with its own trade measures. This has created uncertainty and instability for both countries' lumber industries. Second, political tensions. The dispute is often influenced by political pressures in both countries, making it difficult to find a mutually acceptable solution. Lastly, economic impact. The dispute has significant economic consequences for both countries, affecting jobs, prices, and the stability of the lumber industry. Here's why it remains unresolved. First, fundamental disagreement. The core issue lies in the differing forest management practices between the US and Canada. The US accuses Canada of unfairly subsidizing its lumber industry through low stumpage fees on publicly owned forests, while Canada argues that its system is fair and reflects the unique circumstances of its forest sector. This fundamental disagreement makes it difficult to find a mutually acceptable solution. Second, political influence. This dispute is often influenced by political pressures on both countries, making it difficult to reach a compromise. Both governments face domestic pressure from their respective lumber industries and may be reluctant to make concessions that could be perceived as detrimental to their national interest. Lack of clear definitions. There is no clear consensus on what constitutes a subsidy or dumping in this context, making it difficult to resolve dispute through international trade rules. This ambiguity allows both sides to interpret the rules in their favor and makes it challenging to find a solution that satisfies both parties. Fourth, economic impact. The dispute has significant economic consequences for both countries, affecting jobs, prices, and the stability of the lumber industry. This makes it difficult for either country to make concessions that could have a negative impact on their domestic economy. My alternative solutions of the U.S. softwood lumber dispute. First, market-based stumpage pricing. This approach aims to address the U.S. concerns about subsidies by moving away from administratively set stumpage fees towards a more market-based pricing system in Canada. This could involve using auctions or other market mechanisms to determine the price of timber, potentially reflecting the true cost of managing public forests. This would require a collaborative effort between the US and Canada to establish a transparent and fair system that ensures accurate valuation of timber resources. Second, manage trade agreements. This approach involves implementing quotas or export taxes on Canadian lumber exports when prices fall below a certain threshold. This could provide stability to the market and prevent price fluctuations that often trigger trade disputes. However, this approach can be seen as protectionist and may not address the underlying issue of stampage fees. Lastly, dispute resolution mechanisms. Establishing a robust and independent dispute resolution mechanisms could help resolve disagreements and ensure a fairer outcome for both sides. This could involve a neutral panel of experts or an international arbitration body to adjudicate disputes and prevent unilateral actions that escalate tensions. This approach would require both countries to agree on a transparent and impartial process, fostering trust and cooperation.